Have you ever replayed a single moment in your mind? The conversation you didn't have, the email you didn't send, the yes you turned into a no, and wondered how your life might be different if you'd chosen the other path? I have. For years, I believed that big lives were built through grand, sweeping gestures, overnight success, dramatic reinventions, or cosmic luck. But the older I get, the more I realize that transformation rarely arrives with fireworks. It arrives quietly, in a single, ordinary moment, when you choose differently. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. This isn't a channel for hype or fantasy. It's a space for real people making real choices, often scared, often uncertain, but willing to trust that one clear yes can alter everything. If that's the kind of courage you're cultivating, I'd be honored if you'd subscribe to Elevate Your Daily. It's how we stay connected as we navigate the quiet power of decisive action. Today, I want to share something I've come to see not through theory, but through lived experience. You are not stuck. You are simply one decision away from a different life. Not 10 decisions, not a perfect plan, just one. I didn't always believe this. For a long time, I felt trapped by my circumstances, my job, my finances, my self-doubt. I thought change required a complete overhaul, a heroic level of discipline, or a sign from the universe. But then I started paying attention to the turning points in my own story and in the lives of people I admire, and I saw a pattern. Major shifts almost always begin with a single, seemingly small choice. To help me recognize those moments when they arise, I've learned to ask myself 5 questions that cut through the fog of overwhelm and point me toward the one decision that matters most. These aren't rhetorical, they're tactical, and they've changed my life. The 5 questions are: 1. If I could only change one thing today, what would create the biggest ripple in my life over the next 6 months? 2. What decision have I been avoiding that, if made, would instantly relieve a hidden weight I'm carrying? 3. Who would I become if I said yes to the thing I've been too afraid to pursue? 4. What's the smallest, most honest no I can say right now to protect my future self? 5. If I knew this decision would define the next chapter of my life, what would I choose without apology? Let me walk you through how each of these questions helped me stop waiting for a new life and start building it one choice at a time. Number 1. If I could only change one thing today, what would create the biggest ripple in my life over the next 6 months? This question saved me from paralysis. For months, I was overwhelmed by everything I should be doing. Launch a course, write a book, grow my audience, fix my finances, improve my health. The list was endless, and I was stuck at 0. Then I asked this question, not what should I do, but what one thing would change everything else if I did it? The answer was startlingly simple. Protect my morning focus block. Not write the whole book, just guard the first 90 minutes of my day for deep work. That was it. So I did. I blocked my calendar. I told my team not to schedule calls before noon. I turned off notifications. That one decision didn't just give me back time, it gave me back agency. In those mornings, I wrote the first draft of my book. I designed a new offer. I rebuilt my confidence. 6 months later, my business had shifted. My energy was higher. The sense of possibility had expanded. I realized that you don't need to change everything at once. You just need to find the lever, the one decision that makes everything else easier, clearer, or possible. Number 2. What decision have I been avoiding that, if made, would instantly relieve a hidden weight I'm carrying? This question uncovered a truth I'd been burying. I was saying yes to a project that didn't align with my values. It paid well, so I told myself it was just business. But every time I worked on it, I felt a quiet shame, a sense that I was betraying my own standards. I avoided making the decision because I was afraid of the fallout, losing income, disappointing someone, looking ungrateful. But then I asked this question, and the answer was immediate. I need to walk away. So I did. I sent a respectful email, honored my commitments, and stepped back. The relief was physical. It was like I'd been holding my breath for months and finally exhaled. That decision didn't just free up my time, it restored my self-trust. And with that trust came a new clarity about what I would and wouldn't do going forward. Sometimes the most powerful decision isn't about what you start, it's about what you stop. And the weight you're carrying, it's not yours to bear. Number 3. Who would I become if I said yes to the thing I'd been too afraid to pursue? I used to think identity came before action. I'll do it when I feel like the kind of person who can. But I've since learned the reverse is true. Action shapes identity. For years, I wanted to write publicly, but I told myself I'm not a real writer, so I stayed silent. Then I asked this question: who would I become if I just hit publish on that essay? The answer wasn't a famous author. It was someone who trusts her voice, someone who shows up, someone who finishes what she starts. That was enough. So I published it. It wasn't perfect, but it was mine. And with that one yes, I began to see myself differently. Not because the world changed, but because I had proven something to myself. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to choose the version of yourself you want to grow into and take one step toward her. Number 4. What's the smallest, most honest no I can say right now to protect my future self? This is my weekly check-in, because I've learned that every yes to distraction, obligation, or fear is a no to my future. So I ask, what's the smallest, kindest no I can offer today? Sometimes it's, no, I won't check email before 10 a.m. No, I won't attend that meeting with no clear purpose. No, I won't scroll for 30 minutes when I'm tired. I'll rest properly. These aren't grand declarations. They're tiny acts of loyalty to the person I'm becoming. And over time, those small no's create the space for big yeses, to creativity, to connection, to courage. Your future self isn't built in a day. She's built in the quiet choices you make when no one is watching. Number 5. If I knew this decision would define the next chapter of my life, what would I choose without apology? This is the question I ask when I'm at a crossroads. Not what's safe, not what will others think, but if this choice sets the tone for the next year, what aligns with the life I truly want? Last year, I was offered a lucrative consulting gig that would have locked me into a year of work I didn't believe in. The money was tempting, the security was seductive, but I asked this question, and the answer was clear. Say no. Protect your vision. It was scary, but it was also liberating. That decision led me to double down on my own projects, and within months, I launched something that felt more aligned, more authentic, and ultimately more rewarding, financially and spiritually. I realized that chapters aren't written by chance, they're chosen, and you get to pick the opening line. Your turn. One simple step. If you're standing at your own crossroads today, here's one grounded step you can take. Ask yourself, what's the one decision I've been postponing that, if made today, would shift my trajectory? Then give yourself permission to make it, not perfectly, but honestly. It might be sending that message, deleting that app, booking that call, walking away from that situation. You don't need a guarantee, you just need clarity and the courage to act on it. Because your next chapter doesn't begin when everything is perfect. It begins the moment you choose differently. I'm not sharing this because I've mastered decisive action. I still feel fear. I still hesitate, but now I recognize those moments not as stop signs, but as invitations. And if you're in that same space, tired of waiting for certainty, ready to trust your intuition, I'm so glad you're here. This journey isn't about dramatic leaps, it's about the quiet courage to make one clear choice and then live by it. So if you'd like to keep walking this path with honesty, not hype, I'd be honored if you'd subscribe to Elevate Your Daily. This channel is a home for those of us who know that a different life isn't a distant dream, it's just one decision away. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next one.